Are you a business owner stuck in fear, doubt, and worry about what the marketplace will look like in the future? Then this show is for you. Strap on your seatbelt and get ready to disrupt and innovate. Here's your host, Lisa Levy.
Today on Disrupt and Innovate, I am thrilled to welcome Rupali Kumbhani, a global transformation leader who turns vision into multi-million-dollar revenue growth. With her career spanning product management and enterprise strategy, Rupali specializes in connecting technology and people. Yes, technology and people to help organizations move faster and decide smarter. She's a trusted advisor to C-suites on the responsible and strategic use of AI, ensuring that innovation serves humanity first while strengthening organizational resilience. Let's get ready for a masterclass in navigating complex change with clarity, purpose, and deep cultural intelligence. Rupali, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for such a kind introduction. And I'm super excited to have a conversation with you.
I am so excited. AI is obviously a topic that a lot of people, we're talking about it a lot here. It's a conversation everywhere. But I really want to start with, the work that you're doing in your consultancy and why what you're doing today is so important.
So in my consulting work, as I'm continuing the journey which I have done it at past, which is an intersection of technology, innovation, and strategy. So my role is partnering with C-suite, advising them to use technology in a way that converts their vision into actionable strategic plan, and then build the team and drive it to the execution. What my focus in consulting firm is a lot on how to implement AI strategically, but my experience on working on AI and emerging technologies, I want to make sure that organization is investing resources mindfully and planning it better rather than chasing some silver shining, something going out there. And I want to follow that too. So that's what I've been doing in my consulting work.
With an entire career of my own that has circled around technology, I have never heard the phrase mindful implementation before. And I love the use of it because my career started chasing technology implementations to do more faster with less. Let's use the technology. And it's a sexy sales pitch and a really awful implementation. And more often than not, that mindset failed. So let's talk about mindfulness and the connection with people in this process. So why is that human part so critical?
Wow. So you have said so many words, which is right now the pattern you will see it in AI everywhere. Conversations which I'm having with leaders and C-suites, I'm seeing the similar pattern which you have said it is let's implement the tool. But I'm going to get an ROI out of it. What I can do more out of less. And obviously the first impact comes to the humans. And we are seeing it a lot. The layoffs are happening. There is that fear of technology is big right now. It started last year and it's going bigger and bigger among humans. People who are working in a job, having fearful, and a different level of leadership is feeling it. The second part, which you have talked about, is human at the center of transformation. Because whether you are doing a transformation of ERP or you are doing a transformation of AI or a healthcare transformation, my philosophy is everything we are doing is for human because I want to make humans' life better. I'm not making machines' life better. My end goal, my consumers, my stakeholders are human. So we have to keep that at the center of our mind. I was having a conversation with you earlier is there are trends coming up and the patterns and the data which is showing up that AI is not scaling fast or not giving that ROI which was supposed to be because that missing link is there. Yeah, if you have worked on a different tools, I do use a lot of AI tools on my daily work life and working with different leaders on a different segments. Still, AI is not at that level which I can rely 100%. When I have to see that data, the data is not correct. Even the simplest tasks are not done completely correctly. The human intervention is needed. Think of AI as something as like internet 20 years ago. You have internet, but the expertise and is not gone away. People are still getting the specialization into the subject which they have it. Nobody has stopped educating themselves. Nobody stopped learning themselves. So that's how AI should be used with the human, not the replacement of the human. That means, as a human, as a leader, it is also my accountability that how I use AI responsibility and making sure it is part of my journey. But I have to make that strategic choice that where should I be using AI. So first, it starts from the strategy. When you are planning to use AI in any of your implementation, it should start with the problem statement. It should look like what I'm trying to solve and who are my consumers. And from there, you get enough data. Human is again at the center of that. How we are building the strategy is when I'm rolling out any tools, my goal is to increase productivity, increase revenue growth, but not cutting the people out. If that's what you are moving away, or if that is your strategy, at the long term, it's going to backfire. That's what I feel like humans should be at the center of AI.
And absolutely. And in what you just shared with us, the point that people are the center, right? The businesses, customers, key stakeholders, if it's a public company, they're shareholders. These are people that are trying to derive some benefit, some value from that business and from that service. And if we do not take them into account, we will most certainly produce things that do not add value to them. And if they don't get value from it, they're going to stop buying it, whatever it might be. And that's a really fantastic alignment in terms of of approach and thinking. My team, we work from a mindset that people plus process times technology equals whatever it is that we're going after: growth and scale, effectiveness and efficiency, organizational resilience, right? But if you play with those levers and understand that technology is an enabling tool, AI is just another technology that we're bringing into the toolbox, and use it in your words, right? These are strategic choices and it starts at the top.
Absolutely. Always the transformation starts from top down. Any kind of changes, whether it's cultural, organizational, transformation, digital, everything starts from top down. People mimic what their leaders are doing and then they follow the leaders. That's the reason they are the leaders. So, my philosophy is always the approaches are top down and it should start from the strategy and that having that mindset we talked about. Because you're creating a strategy, if your mindset is revenue growth, keeping human out, that's not going to work. If it's your mindset as revenue growth, and let's make our people learn this new technology so that they be more productive to us and give that revenue growth, that's a different mindset. So, which one you choose is important.
It is. And in that, right, we know, you use it, you use AI tools every day. I use them every day. Most people who are working in business age are using some sort of AI tool, some way, somehow to help them in their personal life, their professional life. And that's not what we're talking about here, right? The AI investment and the ROI that is a truly strategic choice is not the person who's using Chat GPT or their favorite LLM to help them write an email or to help them write a report, right? This is in a totally different level of AI implementation where it is actually integrating into the flow of the business, automating processes, whatever that might be. So it's a different thing than just, playing, and getting ROI on that is not happening because people are piloting things that are not strategic choices. They're playing. And
Yeah.
that's a huge paradigm shift that we're going to have to address. I think that, it comes back to starting with people. What are the problems we need to solve to make business better?
Exactly. That's what you said. It is exactly the pattern which I've been seeing. One of the example I can give it to you, I was working with a banking CEO and I was advising him. And his first thing was he was launching a product. And his first question to me was, which AI tool I should be using to implement this product launch? And that's where I say that AI strategy comes in a picture. AI is not a magic tool that will solve your problem. AI is not your strategy. It should be part of your strategy. Your strategy should be based on the data. So, my conversion to him and to his team was look into the data. Why your previous product launch was failing? Who are your targeted customer audiences are? What are the patterns you can gather out of it? To gather this information, you certainly can use the AI if it is available to you. But these are the information which will help me to give you that mindset saying where we are failing, and what should be strategy to address your new customer looks like. And then we look into how the AI would be helpful. So that shift in a mindset is where that ROI we are talking about. If he has just invested into a tool and just waiting for result to come on a failed process or a failed strategy, it's not going to give you a result. Same goes with the processes your team is working on. If your processes are broken, putting AI is not giving you a magical results which you are looking for. It's just waste of the revenue, which you will let come to know whether in a 3 months, 6 months, or in a 1 month period, because or in a yearly plan, whatever your roadmap looks like. But that's where you realize that I'm not getting the ROI because you just chase the tool rather than implementing AI strategically.
The shift is where the ROI comes from. And you're talking about revenue, and revenue is awesome. We want more revenue. But right, if we have broken processes and we leverage AI to run those processes, we have now, I call it super fast bad, right?
Yes.
Right. We're
Yep.
getting the same results, we're getting more of them, and we're getting it faster. And not only does it affect revenue, but it also, right, margin falls. We start to lose our operating margins. And so it's sort of a double whammy because it's now becoming more expensive to do less well.
Absolutely. And you build a culture where people are afraid of technologies. Now they are not doing the innovation which you wanted to do because they are afraid that if am I in a chopping block? If I say something, it's going to be put me in that position where I've been losing my job. Nobody wants to be that innovative mindset nowadays because everything has to be done in a way where leaders wants to see the ROI with the tool they have selected rather than keeping people in mind saying, this is what my process looks like. This is my business model looks like. And this is where skill sets my people are in, how I can leverage that expertise. Because an expertise who are in healthcare or is it in a manufacturing, AI cannot mimic that completely. So rather than replacing that person completely with not having a fully fledged AI tool in your hand would be a wrong strategy to do. Rather than you should lift your people and give them education and a training which will make them that productive, revenue generating person you wanted all along in your organization. So I always talk about one of the things is you have talked about that what we are talking in the organization is the enterprise level implementations. Sometimes it's not the building the AI tool, it's the adoption of AI tools. And there are two sides of fears which I have seen it and I have dealt with them. One is the fear among the leaders where they feel like if I open this AI tool in my organization, people are going to be exposing my data unethically and then it's my private data is exposed, or setting an expectation saying organization is going to invest in every AI tool, which is not also feasible. An employee's feeling is AI is going to take my job, so have a resistance to it and says, I'm not going to be invest in time to learn this tool. So my model, which I proposed, is based on governance and learning. The governance model, which gives a visibility to leadership so that they can see it, that what actually people are working on, and it's secured in their own channel. So that way the data is not exposed. So a governance committee would be the team, a cross-functional team from leaders from different department would review the any kind of approach or any kind of need coming out from different department. The department needs to give them what is the problem they are trying to solve, what is the ROI into it, and what are the risks associated with that. And based on looking at all this data, they make a decision, should we invest in this tool or not? That becomes like more sound decision because if you are trying to solve a problem which HR team has already solved it, marketing team does not need to invest more into it. Just leverage the same tool and make it as a different processes for you. Similarly, giving training to people because that's another challenge. All of us are working into our day-to-day life. Nobody has that much time to invest into learning AI, and AI is changing every day. So how much time should I spend on which tool and learn what? One of the challenge I feel in my mentorship too, everybody's asking is like, how much time should I invest in AI? I'm burning out. I don't know. I don't have enough time into it. So when organization invest into learning program, they identify for a different department what tool will be relevant for their industry, for that department, and give them education saying how you leverage this tool for your work and give the choice back to employee and they decide whether it's giving them value or not. Rather than fearing the technology, you take this in your hand, you learn this technology and see whether it's useful or not and where are the pitfalls are. I feel like using it at this model way, the adoption becomes easier and you have a better learning coming out of it rather than the fear is driving away everybody into either implementing something which is not useful or burning out.
And really what you're talking about in this description is managing the organizational change, right? And that people are naturally resistant to change. We like, especially if we're really good at what we do and we're seen as high performers, and we are high performers, right? But we're doing the thing and we are being praised for it. Changing that introduces an element of risk, and I may no longer be the best of the best, right? So we tend to fear the unknown, and taking people on that journey to build skills and capabilities, understand and get the buy-in that this tool provides me the opportunity to learn something new, to potentially grow and contribute in a different level, in a different way, that it is an investment in me. And yes, the business is getting something out of it also, but it is not to replace me. Right.
Yeah.
It is pouring in and creating that growth so that I will say, yes, I want to be a part of this journey. I will give my all. And in the best circumstances, right, we all rise together. And that is then where we get that adoption and the sustainability from that change.
Absolutely. You have summed it up so rightly. And that's again that going back to how to keep human at the center. When in company are implementing these kind of governance and learning strategies, people feels like what you have said it, that company is investing in me rather than trying to replace me. That loyalty, the trust you wanted to have your employee to be in your organization, they will feel more energized to work for you and say, let me put more effort because company is doing this for me. And at the end, it also your personal growth too. So company wins with you gaining some personal growth. So that's a win-win situation in my eye.
Yeah, absolutely. And in governance models, oftentimes we talk about the system, right? And
Hmm.
I'm going to relegate the AI down to being the system in this part of the conversation, right? But we talk in terms of the system shall not. And as we do any sort of change with this, and AI really is more than the system shall or shall not, because it can become a partner, right? Where we're building and growing together with it. There need to be guardrails on what we humans can do with it also. People should not use the tool to replace themselves. People should not expect that it is going to do their job for them. We should not use it for conflict. We should not use it for dangerous outcomes, right? We need to govern our behavior as much as we try to put governance around the system. There's a human part in that also.
Absolutely, the data security is a big component into it. The ethicality of a use of AI is important where you are using it. There are need to be a lot more working in background. Should be issues where they say what is now innovative material, what is the copyright issues, because in world of AI where the data is flowing so openly, what you will call as original content versus its AI generated content. That's always this conversation is still going, and I tell you that answer is not there. So obviously that's going to be part of it. Algorithms are created by humans, so those AI biases are true, and it's nothing we can say. Oh, it's just a myth. No, it's not myth. It's not AI creating the biases. Our biases which we have implemented in the algorithm. So how we can make sure that is those biases are not impacting the decisions, making sure there are checkpoints everywhere. And again, that checkpoints, I would not be a checkpoint for another AI. It will be again human making that checkpoint, saying, okay, if AI has generated that, what's happening up? Is it logical decisions or not? Because right now, AI is still gibberish and garbage in, garbage out is still coming up. And no matter what we want to talk about, but there is a lot more human intervention is needed. Yes, AI is helping in so many areas to reduce the administrative task. You and I are conversing here right now, and that notes can be done easily. Yes, totally. But a lot of time, that interpretation or the recommendations or notes might not be 100% true. You still need to see and check what the notes coming out of it. It's the which is very simplest example at the enterprise level. It becomes really higher. You want the people to still check what's coming out of it. And so I feel like that human intervention and ethicality, as you have talked about, is so important. and it's going to be growing from here. It's just the beginning. There are going to be a lot more coming part of it, and accountability at the end is lies up to us, because we are the one who is creating AI machines. We are the one who is creating AI algorithm. So how is our accountability towards what is the use of AI is going to be really critical.
Rupali, this has been a fantastic conversation, and we really dug into one subject and gave it some real substance. We did depth and breadth on that. If we've piqued the interest and curiosity of members of the audience, how do they learn more about you and the work that you do?
Sure, people can connect with me on LinkedIn. My handle is Rupali Kumbhani, which is my first name and last name. I would love to have a conversation with people how they are implementing AI, what are the challenges they are facing, how this conversation are helping or not helping them. Feel free to reach out to me, and I would love to have a conversation with you.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. And audience, we have talked about the influence that AI is having and the power of mindful implementation that we acknowledge, and Rupali has acknowledged today, that people are starting to fear technology because there's a mindset that we're replacing people. And if we keep human at the center, and as leaders make the strategic choice to solve our problems, leveraging the tool set that is AI, we can increase productivity, we can increase revenue, but it really starts with a strategic choice at the top so that we are driving things forward, that we're looking at data, that we have a defined problem statement and know what we're trying to solve for. It is not a magic wand. And I don't have a wand to wave in my hand today. AI is not a magic wand. But if we do make those strategic choices and leverage it based on data, we can create the shift that will lead to ROI. And that does not matter, right, where we sit in the organization. If we are doing this with alignment and purpose, we will drive the results that we want, and they are always human outcomes that we're looking for. Rupali, thank you so much for being with us today. And audience members, you know my rules. Don't get left behind. Join me next time.
That's it for today's episode of Disrupt and Innovate.